Okay, so now we're going to take our deep dive. And as you know, we are doing our Superpower Series. And I just wanted to let the listener know that Kori actually asked if she could come on and talk about her superpower. And I am really super excited about that. So let's start with some fun, silly questions. Your favorite superhero?
Okay. My favorite superhero and why would be Christian Bale in Batman Begins because he plays the role so well and is so hot in all his movies.
Okay.
I also really like all the messages in that movie, Batman Begins, that Christian Bale plays. It has a lot of
Okay.
great messages in that movie.
Okay, so for you, it's beyond just the fun of the superhero. He did obviously a great acting job, and then to boot, there are these really good strong messages for you that you got.
Yeah.
It's very cool. Thank you
I actually
for
wrote
those.
a blog piece on my current events blog uh, based on recently watching that movie and relating it to uh, today's world because the movie is from like 20 years ago. I mean, I think
Right,
it's an older movie, but it aligns with what's happening in current events right now, I think, in some
right.
ways.
Wow,
Have you
that's
seen it?
I have seen. Are you talking about your blog or the
No, no,
movie?
no, no. The movie.
Yes, but so long ago that no, I mean, yes, I've seen it. I haven't seen it recently, so I can't really say much about it. Obviously, Christian Bale, we all know, is a fabulous actor, and yeah, good messages. I think any good movie should have messages in it. That's how I feel. Even if it's just let's have some fun with this. I did read your blog and I found it very fascinating, and I want to be sure that we include that so people can um, get to that blog if they'd like to read it. All right. So let's see. We are up to if you were a superhero, what superpower would you want to have? So this is different than a mortal superpower.
Yes. I've thought about this a lot over the years,
I
and
love that.
I really have. And in this 3D world, I would like to be able to read minds of anyone and anything whenever I wanted to, but I have two answers. So in the
Okay.
5D or spiritual realm, I'd like the superpower to be able to physically see and talk to my dead grandparents whenever I wanted to, which would be all the time because I miss them so.
Okay.
I
Oh,
really miss them.
wow.
So if I had that superpower, that would be amazing.
Wow. I did not see that coming. That's, really quite lovely in that you want to be in communication with your grandparents. Yeah. Oh, that's very sweet. Very sweet. So read in the 3D world, reading minds whenever you wanted to, in the 5D world, which would include spiritual, you'd like to be able to physically see and talk to your grandparents.
Mhm.
Oh, I like that you gave that thought also, that you have thought about that, like you said, for years. Hmm, that's fun.
I mean, hasn't everyone wanted to, like a special, like if you were given one wish, what would it be?
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
if you
right.
had a superpower, what would it be? It's just a
Yes.
common thing.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it makes for, I think, interesting conversation. And I do like to think about things, ponder. I like to use that word. And, that's an area that perhaps more of us have thought about than I recognize. I am really enjoying the Superpower series, by the way. And what would you say is your superpower? Because I really believe that we all have a superpower. And of course, with the summer here in the US anyway, we've got all the superhero movies that'll be coming out. So what is your superpower?
Okay, so I thought this was an interesting series you're doing on your Unabashed You podcast, so that's why I I was like, you know what, that interests me. So it's an interesting topic that I'm happy to talk about, and it's kind of a longer answer, but
Right.
in my first year of intro classes at college, I took a 101 communications class, and one of the chapters in the communications book was ESP, extrasensory
Right.
perception, which refers to the ability to gain information without using the known human senses.
Okay.
And some human beings are blessed with this God-given ability, like telepathy, clairvoyance, precognition, claircognizance, and a clear knowing, and this is real, and I am on that spectrum. Actually, later in life, I was diagnosed as an empath, and since I was 5, I could feel other people's emotions, feelings, and intentions while in person, which makes me a very sensitive person because of all the energy I absorb.
Right. Yes. I like how you put that too, because you're absorbing the energy of others. That's exactly, I mean, that I understand that. And I would say that I relate to that too. Feeling the energy of others. Wow. Yes.
So do you get like overstimulated and
Oh
in
gosh, yes.
big,
Yes.
big, big
Yes.
gatherings or big cities? I just do because I pick up so much energy. It's just like I'd rather be one-on-one with someone communicating than in a group setting. Just me personally, because
Right.
of like,
Yeah, I do understand that. For me, it would depend a little bit on the situation, but I definitely absorb what other people are feeling. So if other people are upset or they're irritated or whatever, I feel that in my being for sure. And I
mhm,
think that's what you're saying, that
mhm,
you feel that as well. Would you
mhm.
say that you are, excuse me, do other people notice that you are empathic? Is that something that other people have noticed about you?
Yeah, well, like I said, I mean, I was diagnosed as an empath. So
And this was at
it's not
five
a
years
topic
old.
that I talk about. Actually, this whole like series that you're doing is I don't talk about it really. It's something that I don't really speak about. So it's nice to speak about it, but no, it's not really something that comes up in general conversation.
Right, that's true. I can see that. So you were diagnosed at 5 years old, and what does that look like?
No,
How
no,
does
no.
one get, oh, say that again?
I was diagnosed later in life.
Oh, later in
Um,
life. Okay, okay,
but
sorry.
since I was 5 years old,
Oh,
I could you know,
you notice this about
feel
yourself.
other people's emotions, feelings, and intentions while in person, pick up on energy, like really empathetic, or like without sounding arrogant in any of these questions, like be sensitive to other people's emotions. And then it also has a negative side because you could take on other people's emotions.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important to not do that, especially if it's negative emotions.
Right. Well, I think you've explained it really well, and I don't think that it sounds arrogant or braggadocious at all to say that this is who you are. I think there's a lot of power and understanding and compassion when you know who you are. And this is one of the areas of your life that you have come to understand about yourself. And that's informative. And then in different situations, I need to remove I'm getting a little overstimulated. I need to take a break or whatever it is. I think it helps you navigate through your life if you understand yourself better.
I would agree with that. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Um,
And it also sounds like you can relate.
yes, I can. I can. We've had a couple of conversations on the show throughout the years about that, and it's been really interesting. It actually took somebody else saying it and describing it for me to think, oh my gosh, that's me.
Mhm,
It took that kind of a conversation, and that's why one of the many reasons that I feel it's so important to know who you are, because
mhm,
that kind of information is helpful and beneficial to your life and you're in the relationship you have with yourself, relationship with others. And that understanding, then you can have more compassion towards yourself. Like, I'm just worn out right now. I need to, whatever it is, you don't make it a bad thing. It just is.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How would you so how would you say you use the superpower?
Well, how do I know I have it or how do I use it?
Well, you know you have it, so that's the beginning. Now, how do you use it?
Okay, well, okay.
Maybe it's more than it.
I can give a couple
Oh,
examples.
sure, sure, sure.
Like one odd thing I have is this thing with time. I like instinctually know 1 minute or seconds before my alarm goes off whenever I set it
Wow.
during the day or night for things. And another ESP communication I know I have with my dad and sister, and we all have it, is that when they are writing a text to me before it's even sent, my mind will automatically think about them. And
Mm,
then after that, like my mind will go to them and then I will receive the text. And that happens so many times with like my dad and my sister. But besides the examples I've mentioned, I haven't fully tapped in yet to learn exactly how to use it. But on the empath part of it, I use it to know people in person and who they are as a person and if they have good or bad intentions. So it kind of like helps me out to for like judgment, not
right.
judgment is the right word, but to
Being able to read a
yeah,
person.
read a person in person, but like
Right.
in
Yes.
person.
Well, that actually is something that I think is really helpful, obviously, really helpful. And but I would also say not everybody has that. And I think that's one of the reasons that that expression read the room has become so popular, because some people just are not able to read the room. You just want to say, read the room.
Mhm.
Oh, how would you suggest, do you think everyone has a superpower? And if you do, how would you suggest people find their superpower?
Let's see. Well, I think God places everyone in roles with gifts and capabilities unique and different from one another. But what I've been talking about specifically, no, I don't think everyone has one. I think, like I said, it's a God-given ability that you're either born with or you're not. But I
Okay,
mean, yes, God gives everyone different capabilities and different places them in different roles and has different gifts and to suggest how they find it. I mean, I'm going through a phase right now in my life where I'm a very spiritual person. I always have been, but I think when people are open and tap into the spiritual realm away from this concrete 3D world, amazing things can happen in their lives and enhance their abilities to be more gifted. So I think spirituality and tapping away from this like superficial 3D concrete world, people could find their superpower.
okay. I like that suggestion because it's about kind of elevating your awareness to something that's more and beyond.
Mhm.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so are you saying, I wanted to get back to something you said just a moment ago, that not everybody has a superpower because they don't know they have the superpower, so they're not able to like use it, or that not everybody's been given a superpower?
Well, what is your definition of a superpower?
I would say that it is, I think everybody has one. It's a strength, it's something you excel in, and other people know it, and you know it too, whether that's deep down or you, like you say, you haven't really fully tapped into it. I think the potential is there.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I believe God gives us all unique and different gifts and capabilities.
Okay, so other people have superpowers. It's just like maybe they don't quite know what they are. Is that what you're saying?
I'm not quite sure on that one, but
Okay,
specifically what we were talking about with like the ESP and empaths type stuff, I no, I don't think everyone has
agreed.
that. I
Agreed.
think you're either born with it or you're not.
Right. So there's, there are different kinds of strengths. Like you said, God places everyone, it gives everybody, gifts, capabilities, et cetera. And, one of yours happens to be this ability to, well, this empathy that you have. And it sounds like you have you've really made a connection between empathy and starting to get into extrasensory stuff. So, as I understand it, you're saying that there's like a spectrum of that, according to what you learned in college.
Yeah, well, I mean, in college, the chapter of the book, it was a oral communications class, but one chapter was extrasensory perception, ESP, which is actually a known thing. So, like, for
Right,
example, I've hired a spiritualist in the past who was a psychic. She had clairvoyance, she had claircognizance, which was her greatest gift, which is the clear knowing. She with this was okay, so this was on like over the internet, and she only knew my name, and I asked three questions, not last name. She was able
right,
to give me specific details of like she could see in her mind things like objects that were true, and she knew these things. So like this is real, that like some people, like I said, it's a God-given gift that
right,
it that some people have this ability and some people don't. I like I said, I believe I'm on the spectrum for certain reasons, some examples I gave, but
right, right,
I haven't really tapped in or learned how to use or increase them, or if I if I even wanted to. So,
right.
but yeah, it's just such an interesting topic.
I'm, s- I'm so glad you wanted to speak on it. It's great. And you've shared a lot about different thoughts, and I'm learning some different things about the things that you have talked about, and especially as it relates to you. And that is very intriguing. And again, more to ponder. I want to tell you what I think your superpower is. And I will
Okay.
tell you, listener, that I know Kori in real life. So I did tell, I have said this, if I know the person during the Superpower series, I'm going to share with them toward the end what I think their superpower is. And so that's what I've been doing. I think your superpower is courage.
Aw, like being brave,
I like
courage.
that. Yeah,
I
that's that sound. I
I
like
like
that sound.
that. I
Yeah,
like that.
you have been able to, no matter what life brings you and knocks you over and even flattens you, you get up and you do it with a lot of strength and courage. And no matter how many times or how hard, you get up.
I really appreciate that. And you witnessed my meltdown on Monday because of technical difficulties. I had a major technical difficulties and a major meltdown, but you know what? Like today I'm feeling great. It's I'm working on it. I'm moving on with the help of a little family and friend encouragement.
Yeah, well, I thought of courage before your meltdown a couple days ago. I was like, Kori's is courage. Just it just is. It came to me without any trouble at all. So, is there anything else that you want to add before we conclude here? Something you feel like you didn't get to say?
Well, I mean, I just think this was a great discussion, great questions, and it feels good to share all of that. So thanks again for this platform and having me as a guest on your Unabashed You podcast.
Well, it was a pleasure having you, Kori. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for honoring us with your time.
Well, thank you for having me.